Welcome back, everybody. It's time for game 2. 100 Thieves versus Dignitas in a best of 3. Our first in the bracket stage of the lock-in tournament. Dignitas surprised everybody here by taking the first game. If they can do it again, 100 Thieves is out. But I expect the defending champs to be a little fired up after that first loss. My name is Captain Flowers, and Kobe's, he's somewhere. I don't know where he is. So I'm just going to do the first part of this draft by myself. Anyway, I don't expect we're going to get to see Skarner in here anywhere because nobody plays Skarner. That kind of sucks. But hey, sometimes we might. Anyway, hey, welcome back. We got Kobe back, so you guys don't have to hear about Skarner anymore. Anyway, we're ready to go to the draft. We got Diana and Gwen band away, Xinjiao and Corky band away. We're moving right along. How are you?
I'm great. Ran across the studio. Good thing nobody's here. There's no fans in the stands. All right, let's get into picks and bans. What do we miss here, buddy? Diana's still off. A lot of focus.
Yeah, no Diana, no Corky, no TF. The Gwen got banned away. Dig don't want to deal with that again.
Okay, very, very similar thus far then to last time around. Again, Corky getting banned on red side as well, leaving open the possible Victor trade there for the scaling carries.
All right, what's our last ban going to be, Thieves? You guys going to ban out that Ezreal from Neo, or is he going to get to run it back? Let's see. What are we going to do? Thieves? Thieves? Nope, LeBlanc instead.
Interesting. Okay, so they opt to leave it up again, and Caitlyn is still available. Again, just because Caitlyn failed last time around, it's still such a powerful tool right now, pushing power towards the bottom lane. If you get the right support, Lulu doesn't have the same type of range and oppressive laning power like a Lux, like a Karma does. So if you pair it with a stronger early support than that, then you can live the fantasy of Caitlyn, pushing in those minions, get your turret plates down early on, start wearing away at them and get that tower gold, start rotating around the map to really supplant your control early in the game. Well, looks like they might do it again.
Yeah, we got that Caitlyn locked in for 100 Thieves. Dignitas, they want their most prioritized pick of the draft to be that
range.
Jarvan.
We need range
there
though.
for River.
More range with it.
Okay.
More is better.
All right.
There we go.
Caitlyn Karma. There you go. There you go. That's what you were wanting, right?
Exactly, exactly. Put some more range with it. They actually are like, oh, you know what? That Karma really hurt with the Qs on the minions pushing the wave as well as her harassment. Let's take that one away. Again, they forego the Lux. Don't expect her to show up here now, though. Okay, so with Jarvan locked in once again here for Dignitas, that also might deter 100 Thieves from stuff like Victor, because you don't want to be multiple immobile carries. Quickly, Thresh Aphelios picked up an answer here to the K Karma. That's not nearly as strong of an early game answer to the Caitlyn lane as they had last time around. Don't expect them to have the same sort of control, but it is something when you pair with the threat of a Jarvan. The other way to attack Caitlyn lanes is to gank them super early.
Yep.
We saw it previously in multiple leagues where you can get level 2 ganks. Guess what? Jarvan's perfect at that. Towards bottom lane. If you throw them off with your timings on your path and gank bottom super early on before they've stacked up the wave, before they've got the momentum rolling of chunking you out in lane and pushing you in constantly, then you can try and upset that balance. So Thresh and Jarvan, definitely some playmaking ability here, but it's very punishing if you take that swing and you miss.
Yeah, buddy. Well, the response from 100 Thieves, they're going to go ahead and lock in Viego for Closer yet again. Although they didn't get a win last game, Closer is historically incredible on this champion. It would make no sense to switch that aspect of the composition up, I don't think. So very similar stuff here. 2 out of 3 of the same picks for 100 Thieves. Over on the other side, the bot lane, very different, but the jungler's still sticking around. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this draft different from the last one, we have the roles synced up in the first half. It's bottom lanes and junglers here for both sides. So that does mean we're going to see similar bans from both sides too, as 100 Thieves take Orianna off the table.
And that is most often the case right now with such high priority on carrying from bottom side of the map and solo laners looking for these counter picks and having these big trades with multiple bans because there's so many things that you can try and throw out in solo lanes right now. So most teams are going for bottom lanes and jungles first. No surprise there. Locking them in, not giving away too much. And then you get all these focus bans on your solo lanes. The Orianna and the Victor both taken away here from mid lane. Again, you know, things like Syndra are other good options. You just keep going further down some of these longer range control mage options from the mid lane when you're trying to whittle down through here. And the Gragas, obviously the top lane tank build ban, trying to take it away. For me, when I look at these champ selects though, some of the big things that do stand out are Renekton Sunday's champions, basically. His Renekton, Gnar, and now Gwen are like this most played, most reliable, most successful. And that is the one kind of wiggly point for 100 Thieves, I feel like, where sometimes he can be extremely, extremely good, and brings exactly what you need, but it's not like a super wide array or versatile set of champions. So top lane is a place you can try and whittle down. They went for a Jace ban against him, which I don't know how much value to me that really has.
You don't sound like you're a fan, my friend. You don't sound like a fan.
Because the other 3 Someday champs I listed, I would all have so much more confidence in him on any of those 3. Especially here, they've got Abba on, again, one of the long-range control mages that does not have an escape of her own and is against the Jarvan, and guess what? Also a Thresh roaming. So this is not Enchanter versus Enchanter. Support roams are very deadly here coming from the side of Dignitas. If you get time from bottom lane for Thresh to move, for Jarvan to move, that becomes difficult.
Well, hey, we got the Renekton just on the opposite side of what you were talking about, so that'll be on Fake God this time around. Of course, 100 Thieves saving Sunday's pick for last means they will have the opportunity to counterpick that there in the top side, as Zoe is our final pick of the draft for Dignitas here. Blue piloting that one into the mid lane, and hey, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Oh, is it one of the 3?
Yeah!
One of the 3!
This is one of your 3, buddy, and it's
Lock
locked
it in.
Okay. So now that you see all 10, how are we feeling about these 2 drafts against each other? Who do you think got the edge here?
I think there is a lot of early option for playmaking there from Dig. Renekton is very strong early on, but Gnar is going to be a very good option for safe and for scaling for later. So we'll see how Someday can play this. Again, since he has got years, many, many years in multiple regions, Renekton was his most iconic champion in Korea as well. On this champion, he knows damn well the ranges and how to play well around Renekton, even when navigating the small treacherous point for Gnar, which is mini Gnar in early levels when your range is the shortest and you're facing a Renekton plus Jarvan, something that can easily gank you, something that can easily take advantage of your mini farm and those windows. So we'll see how safe he plays. If he's able to avoid those kill opportunities, then he'll be a big force for the team fights for later on. Similarly, on the other hand, FBI and Huhi this time around, you've got no excuses for not pushing in hard on bottom side and having a bottom side lead. You invested Caitlyn and Karma picks into FBI and Huhi. That's gotta return you some early gold. If you don't have some turret plate lead, if you don't have some pressure on bottom side, then there's gonna be some answers that need to come out from coaching.
So one of the things that I'm looking at here across the table on the bottom side is the fact that Neo's on a very different champion this time around, right? Aphelios versus Ezreal, hyper carry versus long range poke. The last game, those fights that Dignitas won, some of them, they actually had more dead bodies on the floor, but it was the fact that you had Ezreal in that range and that poke. So this time around, things will have to be a little bit different because Aphelios doesn't command the range and the ability to 1v4 the same way. He can 1v4, it just looks very different.
It does. And you have to get the right gun to be able to have some range too, and it's not nearly the similar situation. So definitely agree there. He is pretty well equipped to deal with some of the shorter range engagements. And Viego is going to have to be careful there. Closer, have to pick and choose his moments when going for those engagements. And again, for Dig, I really want to highlight their playmaking ability from this draft. This is what they've got in spades here in game number 2. River, I think, has performed really well so far this series, so far today. And especially considering how recently he got here and hasn't had a bunch of time with the team. He's on Jarvan. He's got lots of lanes with setup for him. Thresh, bottom lane, go there, gank this Caitlyn Karma lane so that they don't get to just isolated 2v2 poke push you. Make them sweat, make them use summoner spells, make them have to worry for their lives. Level 1 invade though from 100 Thieves will get them some pretty deep vision. Neo's gonna have to walk his way out as soon as he sees.
Yep, he doesn't want nothing to do with this. Luckily, they all walked the other direction from where he walked, so he can just continue moving on out of here, I would think. All right, yeah, him and Blue are both fine. They might take a little poke over the wall, maybe. But nope, not even that. So 100 Thieves will walk through here. They don't see a whole lot. Closer has changed up one thing this game. Instead of using normal spooky Viego, he is pentakill Viego, which I think is much better.
All right, and he's looking for pentakills. He's gonna have to carry this team. Now, I want to highlight how important the level 1 is, because again, as I highlight, River and the Jarvan and the playmaking ability, so much of it comes out of some early threat, kill threat on these lanes, on both side lanes, either the Renekton lane or the Thresh lane. And so if you go for the level 1 invade, even if you don't take anything away, getting the vision and knowing River starting here, being able to track River from red should give them some more safety. Now you have to keep up with your jungle tracking though, and the small bits of information that you get. They also warded the Raptor Brush, so you can see him if he exits the red quadrant, and that will alert their bottom lane for Huhi and FBI to be able to go full harassment. Right now, of course, when you are level 1 starting there for Velios, always has a pretty good start because you're guaranteed to start green gun and red gun, the best for laning. You've got your range that you can actually match Caitlyn, and you've got the sustain for red gun. That being said, your Karma push is undeniable from Huhi, and the early wave control goes over to them as should be. They have not seen Jarvan exit this red quadrant though, so FBI goes over to fake ward the Tri-Brush.
Yeah.
I love this from him, not spending extra resources and using that information that they have from their ward that was on the brush up by Raptors to not over-utilize their resources, since this is going to be a very important area of the map for them.
Yeah, this is going to be so dangerous if they're constantly pushed up, if they're applying that pressure like you said you wanted to see. River, we've seen how capable he is.
Over the wall. He went over the wall again. He's going to wrap around bottom lane. Clayton!
Oh, baby. River knows what he's doing on this Jarvan, man. He is so fun to watch. FBI and Huhi, they're backing up a little bit. River's still here. He has not shown himself just yet. All right, now he's going to back away. He'll go right back out to the crab, farm that one up, see if maybe there's another chance after.
Nice read and safe play there from FBI and Huhi. And that's actually the next level of information, because they actually had fake warded from FBI and not real warded. They were not baited by the extra vision there, and so they do respectfully back off from the aggressive movement from Biofrost.
River does not quite have his Dragon Strike cooldown ready. He's going to lose a third of his HP to that. So a little unlucky for him, but good defense there from the 100 Thieves bottom.
Yeah, that was so cool. I love these extra layers of how they actually play with the information afforded to them. And respecting the movement from Biofrost, you know, the playmaking from the Thresh, but it's a big wave that they might get zoned off. River's still here. River's
ready to go. He's underneath the turret, but it's going to be FBI focus first. Now they've got the CC down on the enemy support. He stays alive, however, and a teleport is coming in. It doesn't matter if it's not unleashed just yet, but a good flash and a lantern for some safety means they're able to get out. Dignitas now looking for the re-engage. River goes in, smites the Gromp for HP, but now he's got to back away. Closer's ready. He's here, but he's going in on Bio. He sees the opportunity. River now flashing away. Abadaga looking for the enemy support, and 100 Thieves have already found first blood. River wants to get away, but there is no escape.
Get over here! He picks up the body. He uses the hook. Closer! Man, this man has been on fire since the end of last year. I feel like he just got this Super Saiyan buff, Finals MVP, and continues to deliver. This was so aggressive from Dignitas. And a pretty good early look from River. You know, they denied a big wave from the Caitlyn Karma, pushing them off, but they don't respect the rotation of the rest of 100 Thieves. This is one of the things that you see a lot in solo queue, where you kind of get lost in a play and you're playing to follow up again on a very aggressive play deep in enemy territory. Once Closer and Abe come over, you are fully outnumbered. So Closer goes right in onto Bile, hits the stun, gets him low enough. Abe goes finish off the kill, and because Closer had touched him, picks up the Thresh, flashes for the hook right out of the flag and drag, and pulls him over for another kill.
Nicely, nicely done. We come back to live to see Someday just running after Fake God up here in the top lane. He's about to transform into Mega Gnar, so he knows he can utilize the range and speed of the Mini Gnar, or what's left of it, to chase his opponent down. And now, 100 Thieves are loving this start, Kobe. That was great.
They certainly are. I love to see Closer get early kills. He's looking at setting up a possible dive with Someday right now, too. Someday uses everything, transforms into Mini.
Well, the Dominus has been unleashed from Fake God, so he's able to stop that dive from ever happening as soon as the Mega Gnar ulti misses, and that level up comes through for Fake God. You know he's just fine.
Yeah, Sunday knew he didn't have a lot of time to work with, so they get the minion wave pushed in, and it is a cooldown blown, getting the Renekton ultimate down there just from the pass from Closer. He still has top Scuttle Crab to go for, doesn't have to get inefficient on his camps, but the bottom lane continues to get pushed off minion waves. Look at the CS, Flowers. Another big wave timed here for Dig. Another teleport from 100 Thieves invested to answer them, just so that they can get some farm back on FBI here. Last time around, it was Abe using his teleport to get down there to allow them to get back to the minion wave. Turned out very profitable for them in the double kills. FBI scrounges up as many of the CS as he can get. And while the goal of Dig of trying to dissuade and deal with some of the pressure of a Caitlyn Karma lane is technically working. If you just look at bottom side isolated, you know, they haven't been able to push up and get turret plates. They have been at a slight CS discrepancy. It's costing them elsewhere, and it's costing them in the lives of the other players.
Well, down here in bottom lane, they're still just farming on up. Things are going all right. First Drake of the game is a Cloud that doesn't normally demand a lot of pressure. Teams aren't looking to secure that one super easy, so not sure how soon we'll see the objective.
And especially as you know, as a jungler, you're like, you see a Cloud, you're like, that thing does so much more damage than the other dragons with the attack speed.
That thing's taking me down to a third health, where the other ones will leave me at 75% or something.
That's the scary dragon. A lot of the other ones kind of, you can solo with a lot of junglers.
They're just little lizards.
Exactly. The Cloud Dragon bites, okay?
Yeah, he's a strong lizard. Anyway, we got Closer down here in bottom lane. He's looking to see if there's a play to be made, if Neo and Bio want to go aggro, if they're going to get another gank. But we, of course, because of our perfect vision, know that there is no gank coming, and Neo and Bio Frost can
Five head are perfect.
Yeah, we have just the foresight to be aware of these types of things, my friend. But total gold there you can see on the corner. It's Abadaga leading the show by about 300 as Closer, Blue, and Neo and FBI are all right about the same spot right behind him there. So good stuff here for the mid laner 100 Thieves. Like you already mentioned, that teleport paid off for him, getting both the kill and the assist. Already has Sorcerer Shoes on the Syndra, but it's Dignitas heading over to try to grab the first objective in the game in the Rift Herald.
You already see some collapse coming through. Someday had topside push, so he's able to get into the river. He has just transformed into Mini though, so he's exhausted and not a huge threat. Dignitas have pulled their entire bottom lane. Up here, you see Aphelios crossing through mid lane. Smite bite.
Oh, it's going over to River. And now he's got level 6. Closer still only level 5. There's not that Viego ulti ready to go. They got Fake God here in the middle of 4. But is it enough? Yes, it is. Fake God's able to take down Abadaga. Blue takes out Someday. Closer goes over the wall, and Dignitas looks for a third kill. Who he is stuck, and he will not be able to escape. Blue gives him a paddling, and that is 4 damn kills, plus a Rift Herald for the side of Dig.
I like this from Fake God Flowers. The confidence to bring destruction on all these infidels thinking they could mess around with the Rift Herald fight. Flashes in, stuns up Abba, gets 1v4 in the middle, full healing off with the empowered Q, able to escape out the side with his life, takes down so many kills on the side of Dig. Look at this slingshot in gold, and they haven't even used the Rift Herald. They still have Rift Herald in hand and Zoe here. What a play. All right, here's another look at the smite even going their way with River, barely getting the Q plus smite damage.
Oh, Blue stays alive. Nicely done, buddy.
Nice dodges there. Again, Blue has not been able to purchase since all this money has flooded in to the Dignitas bank account, so he's going to go back to the ATM real quick.
Holy smoke, that is a lot of Renekton damage, and
real God.
I hope you like dessert, because Caitlyn's got nothing but a big old donut there in the fight. There was no contribution to that because FBI was not really a part of what was going on. He wasn't there.
Yeah, was the last member of the bottom laners trailing up to the fight. And I believe was level 5 at the time of the fight, so didn't even have range to be able to get his ultimate off because he can level his ultimate up.
And that was a big thing for Closer too. No Heartbreaker, no Execute, no resets. Makes it a lot harder to play those team fights with Viego.
Certainly does when there's a big Renekton in the middle of everybody, causing havoc. Well kited there by Dignitas. Now Blue has been able to purchase on the Zoe. Again, still has Rift Herald in inventory too. So if they can get a mid lane gank, you know, some sort of pressure opened up to be able to get a big value out of this Rift Herald, you take down mid turret. Zoe is in heaven. This champion flourishes once mid lane tower goes down because then you get to roam around. You get to throw out all these bubbles over the walls, sniping side lanes for kills, transitioning members between objectives, finding them and setting up big opportunities for you. There it is. When you've got the Herald, it's a no-brainer. Just bring everybody and force the mid play from Dignitas.
No reason not to.
Great in-game shot calling from them.
And there you go. They've already got 4 plates gone. Minion Waves and Shelly both taking a lot of pain here, so they won't be able to force down that 5th and final plate The bonus resistances on the turret way too powerful after they've already used the true damage on the charge. FBI, of course, will be able to respond by getting a little bit of plate money of his own here in the bottom lane. The Drake's still alive almost 12 minutes into the game. Not prioritized at all, as both junglers are, again, here in the bottom lane. But Kobe, look at the difference in experience. River, level 8 on the Jarvan. Closer, only level 6 on Diego.
Yeah, River has been an absolute monster for them. Again, a lot of the early focus towards bottom side of the map, and they did get it turned around on them, but since then, so much regain. When you have a mid-Herald fight won in such a landslide, a one-sided manner like that, 4 kills picked up, that is so much map control as well, because your opponents can't even reset quickly to defend their wave. So oftentimes you get Rift Herald money, plus 4 kills of money, plus pushes on all your minion waves.
That's a lot of different money, my friend. We're compounding money on top of money, and 100 Thieves.
Diversify your investments.
Exactly. You have to have an impressive portfolio. And that portfolio for Dignitas is over 2,000 gold ahead of 100 Thieves now, as Biofrost rotates up towards mid just to make sure everything's cool here with blue. You can see in the jungle, you've already got Gore Drinker up and running for River, so the Jarvan feeling very strong about his ability to jump in and tank in the middle of those fights. Next to the buddy Renekton there, these two will be a very formidable front line.
Certainly will. See about some purchases pretty quickly here too. Fake God's heading back to base, doesn't have teleport, so they hold off on the dragon. River just goes straight through for the blue steal first.
Yup.
Try and wait for a bit of time. Fake God actually cancels his recall, and he's pushing one more wave to open it up. Now remember, 100 Thieves have teleport advantage right now, so Dignitas pull off a blue steal with a teleport disadvantage on the top side of the map, and forcing on Dragon will be able to get it simply because so much of an advantage pushing through from mid and bottom first.
And we're still at 13.5 minutes, so that teleport advantage does not feel as strong as it otherwise could. Someday he could only go to a turret. He could only transport somewhere nearby. He can't quite get into the thick of anything. So now that that's taken down, second Drake of the game is going to be Hex Tech, and we'll see that one here in a few.
It's gonna be a while to really get used to that too, man, because so you've even seen some of the teams, going for dives early on, and then they get teleported on, and they're like, oh man, I forgot it's the only time that you can actually teleport on
it's
me
only defensive.
if I'm going for the dive. Bubble happens here.
Oh, follow-up comes through. That's a paddling. River picks up the kill. Someday arrives. His teleport is unleashed into nothing. So, all right.
Well, this mid turn's gonna go over. You get the dream Zoe situation. Biofrost coming up through the river through the mid lane means they should be able to get it.
Ooh, nice ward blocking on the
Just take
lantern. That's a shutdown on River. Beautifully done from 100.
That's a nice one too. Double up. You get a green one as well as a pink one on top of it, covering both sides. Walk
the
away.
rainbow.
You had to pay for the mid turret, but it's a pretty strong investment regardless. 3K gold lead and a lot of territory here for Snake to work with.
That was a good hook. If FBI didn't have cleanse, he was about to be a real dead dude.
Yeah. It's so funny too, seeing with so many supports coming out with the glacial augments constantly. Whenever these CCs landing, still having the slow fields come out. Nothing made of it there though, and 100 Thieves will be able to start up and presumably finish this Rift Herald as there's no Dignitas members around, so at least they'll get some pushing power back for themselves to try and right the ship. I mean, this is again another game where Caitlyn lane is not the team with the early advantage in map territory, and so Rift Herald going to help them in that game plan. No turrets taken as of yet for 100 Thieves. Dignitas still running the map here. Off of their reset, they got River right back out onto the map, and double Gore Drinkers for their front line that you were talking about for these bruiser front lines. They get to sustain and get so much health back in a lot of these situations are going to create really big openings for the Zoe Aphelios.
And what you were talking about the Caitlyn, I want to dive into a little bit more, because you said back in Champion Select, hey, you invested 2 of your picks into Caitlyn Karma. You want to see that early push. You want to see that lane domination. And this isn't a situation where it's like, oh, well, 100 Thieves just screwed it up. They didn't play it right. Dig did a great job answering. They did a great job applying the pressure through River, through the dives, through the ganks that you were talking about. And I'm just really impressed with the cohesion of this Dignitas squad here in this festival.
Yeah, definitely. They have a very clear game plan. They have constantly tried to move this forward, pushing down towers, remaining on the offensive, utilizing that advantage. Again, if you're thinking back to how we got to this game state, the biggest thing is the Herald fight. That's where they gained their big momentum. Definitely credit to River for early on, the multiple ganks, as you said, the kill pressure is what they use to try and force FBI and Huhi off some of the minion waves, force them to drop some of those and relinquish some of the pushing pressure that you would theoretically have with that range advantage.
Whoop, over the wall we go. Biofrost goes in. Huhi tries to go out. River puts him in the dunk bucket, and we got 1 kill, nothing here for Dignitas.
Biofrost is back, baby. Constant plays. Even on the Karma in the previous game, it's not flashy at all. But, using your mantra for your shield speed ups later on in the game was a lot of the reason why we're shouting Neo and why we're shouting for the carries, the repositioning, extra heals. He played the lane extremely well both times too. I just love it when some of the more senior players come back and have some strong performances. So definitely credit to the Dignitas bottom lane as a whole, obviously. But now Zoe with the Ludens plus another needlessly large rod of AP
so
on top of it.
Man.
I'm just waiting because we haven't seen much since the early 2 kills off the Rift Herald fight. But once you start getting blue roaming around, picking people off with these bubbles, that's where you get these very low risk plays that can reward you with positioning on objectives and huge chunks in health that result in very tangible rewards.
Zoe's like the equivalent of that one boomer meme that says, this side, that side, I don't care, I just want to go fishing. Zoe just wants to go fishing for picks. It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter where. If she can throw a bubble through the wall and find you, suddenly all your opportunities open up, and Zoe's the one making it happen. Blue sitting at 5 out of 6 kill participation with those items you already talked about, with the stopwatch in case he does get caught or have that pressure applied to him, in a great position to really drive this forward for Dignitas here in the mid-game. With that Hextech Drake up, it looks like Dignitas is just going to bring the boys down, be ready to take that one. Meanwhile, up in top lane, Closer will drop the second Herald of the game to facilitate a tier 1 turret take here for Abaddon.
Something, too, that people need to keep in mind when you're trading objectives like this, you see the extra resources Dig are already rotating over to the Herald push lane. You have to put a very high value on stopping Herald from getting 2 turrets. There is a bunch of extra gold put into turret number 2 on the outer turrets, both of the side lanes. So you actually will give up a huge amount if you and he closed the eye, so almost gets it off, opens back up and blue creeps off before the charge gets out. But if you allow counter pushes when you're focusing on Dragon or something like that, and give up, top outer turret plus a secondary turret, it can be a very big influx in gold into things like a split push area or something that you'll be worried about later on, and allow opponents back into the game. Herald pushing power must be respected, and Dig send over the appropriate amount of resources, with the bottom lane kind of clearing out the jungle pathway for them and not allowing 100 Thieves to push for any more.
Now, speaking of pathways, I do want to bring up something, because you mentioned it in the last game, how the Infernal Rift kind of opened things up a little bit more, so the Caitlyn traps weren't quite as effective. This time around, we have an Ocean Rift, so all the normal walls are going to be there, plus more brushes to hide the traps in, so maybe that'll facilitate a bit better of an environment for 100 Thieves, and particularly FBI, to be able to have that setup and that preparation here for the big fights. But down 3,000 gold and 2 Drakes, 100 Thieves are definitely fighting an uphill battle here, as Closer finds himself pulled in there by the death sentence. Sleep comes through on the Closer, he's ignited, he's ticking down, he's burning away. River goes back in onto the rest of the team as the final ticket to Ignite takes down the enemy jungler. FBI wants to run, but Fake God comes a-knocking on his door instead. Abaddon is down to 100 HP, he'll barely walk away. 100 Thieves are being dismantled, and Dignitas are the ones doing it.
Dignitas rise up. Where were you when Dig started a 2-0 crush? 100 Thieves in the lock-in tournament here. They are so far ahead in game number 2, unless there is a miracle steal or miracle pickoff from 100 Thieves. They are so deep behind in this game that Dignitas looking like they're already marching towards the finish line, my friend.
Forget marching, they're running at the damn thing.
Sprinting.
These guys are ready to go. I am loving this look for Dignitas. So many times when we see... All right, let's watch the replay first. I'll talk about this later.
All right, so vision is turned off. Control ward in the side lane brush here. Closure trying to move up. And it's just another great hook from Bio. Once the hook lands, makes it easy for the bubble to land. And Blue goes over the top. His Ignite, last tick of Ignite burns him down. He couldn't get close to Karma for the shield. Karma gets annihilated by River. Another great engage with the Jarvan. They made such good use of the Cataclysms over and over and over, finding these picks. And Dignitas, they had a lot of playmaking and Champ Select to utilize, and they made use of it. Especially, again, can't emphasize enough that Rift Herald fight where they got so much of a lead. It's just absolute domination now.
Holy moly, man. This is awesome to see. And the thing that I was going to say before the replay is, oftentimes when we see lower ranked teams play up against higher ranked teams, even if they get ahead, they struggle closing out the game. They struggle turning that lead into enough to win. And that's what I'm loving so much about this Dignitas squad when they're finding these leads, is they're driving it forward. They're moving it ahead, and they're continuing to build. And now I want to see how much they can get out of this next minute and a half of there.
And guess what? There's no flash on Closer, Abe, or FBI. All three primary targets that Dig want to kill, their wanted posters are up, and the
we looking for them
reward,
bounties.
the reward is huge. Those targets are big on their backs.
All right, Sleepy Trouble Bubble's going to be flying out constantly as the poke goes out and Dignitas goes forward. Tier 2 turrets are collapsing all over the place. Dignitas, a 5-man squad pushing up top, not bothering with the traditional split push approach of the Baron buff. Instead, just trying to use their muscle and force their way into the base. The top lane tier 3 turret being whittled away now. Neo having the perfect gun for it with that green gun, with the extra range, allows him to apply the auto attacks from a safe distance. So he'll switch back over to blue, clear everything out here, and then Dignitas continues the push. I expect 100 Thieves might be trying to really defend here on this one, but River's already ready to go in. He starts off the fight, and Abadaga's going to lose a lot of HP. Fake God's able to take Someday so low. It's going to be Closer dying first. Abadaga tries to get himself out as Blue goes on a rampage, and Dignitas have 2 dead. They'll take out the inhibitor. They'll block the bullet. They'll keep on clearing out this wave. They're sending one back. Blue should be able to teleport right back into the fight now, and yes, they've got him ready to go. River's still here looking for any sort of a chance he might be able to get. More minion waves coming up. Dignitas is looking at Nexus turrets, but they've only got 10 seconds until 100 Thieves are back and ready to go. Is this an overstay from Dig? It appears so. Blue now flashing away, and it looks like Dignitas, you can see there, sad kitty, they didn't get everything they wanted, but damn did they get that inhibitor.
And they're working overtime. It's only 24 minutes into the game, and they feel like they gotta end it. They've just absolutely destroyed the top side of 100 Thieves base. Because they invest pretty heavily in it, 100 Thieves will get one of our coveted bounties. Gold bounties on the neutral objectives are based at 500 and increase with the amount that you are behind. Huge cash in there. They get an objective bounty. They push off the complete breakpoint of the soul point here for Dignitas. They get a huge cash in of gold as well, but all of that is a drop in the bucket compared to how far they were behind. So you may have maximized your efficiency of the bounty, the size of the bounty that you get, but it's never a good thing to see the bounties. It's like a badge of shame. You're like, oh man, we are really behind here.
You know what it's like? You remember back in the old rank ladder thing? I don't even know if it's still there, but the thing that said, the little badge that said, this user has played 100 games in this division, the badge of shame, like, yeah, you're a hard stuck diamond badge. There you go, buddy.
It's a stamp on your forehead. This user has played 500 games in the same tier.
How has he not ranked up yet? Clearly, he's not reviewing his gameplay.
You're like, please, throw that badge in the garbage.
I'm already struggling here. Come on. All right, we got waves pushing up mid and the team's pushing up bottom. Caitlyn traps have been set up defensively around the bottom lane tier 3. Blue lands the sleep onto Huhi, but will not be able to follow it up with any big strike, as now we're gonna see the ace in the hole not do a whole lot as it is intercepted. Dignitas continuing their push down the bottom lane here. FBI trying to stand up and clear the waves away, but now he's got to back up as Neo finds a chance to do some damage. Neo, however, losing about half HP there, has to back away. Closer rotating back over to mid. Fake God now applying pressure. The 1-4 split. And remember, the super minions are an extra bit of a split because of the amount of free pressure they have in top lane. Dignitas is really trying to hit them from all angles here.
And I think they're succeeding. Every angle has landed a hit. Up the center, around the side, even through the walls with Zoe bubbles. Really, every angle is an opportunity when you're Zoe.
You love to see it. The Banshee's Veil now completed as well makes it that much harder to poke or punish.
Yeah.
Holy cow, there's your Infinity Edge for Neo. So we've got Aphelios at that hyper carry point. 3 items, one of them being Infinity Edge. This is where those hyper carries really start to change the landscape of team fights, and Neo is 4-0-4 and ready to do it.
All right, we got to look at it from the difficult perspective. The 100 Thieves, backs against the wall. Elimination match here. This is only a best of 3.
Yeah.
It is a series, but they're already at series point. They have to make a massive comeback here. And I'm looking at the long-range stun from Abba. That is the most reliable way to do it. Since they don't have flash on Sunday, the Nara gauge is going to be very difficult to pull off. You mentioned already, it's hard to pull off on Zoe now because of Banshee's Veil. He's got to come up with a hero play, scatter the weak, finding Neo. There's no flash on Neo, so it is a possibility.
Oh, no! Closer, the Ruined King is ruined, and Blue is unstoppable. Dignitas managed to find a lot, and now Neo's gonna help him find a little bit more. Double kill over to Blue, and 100 Thieves are heading for the hills. Someday tries to continue running all the way out, but Dignitas have done it! Ladies and gentlemen, where were you when Dignitas cut down the reigning champs in quarterfinals? And they did it 2-0. Beautiful performances from the whole team. Deathless on 3 different players, and absolutely phenomenal from Dignitas QNTMPAY.
I think we've officially entered season 2 of the Dignitas Party Bus. They did it at the beginning of last year. Underestimated, bad news bears at the bottom of the standings. Nobody respects, nobody puts any sort of respect on their name, and they overperform everyone's expectations. They come out swinging here. 2 games, let's go home. Absolutely done and dusted here. Dignitas take down 100 Thieves, kicking them out so early.
You know, I think everybody was coming into today expecting a 2-0. I don't think anyone was coming into today expecting that 2-0. And wowie, what a showing from Dig.
Definitely, a lot of respect here. There's so many things. Individual plays, yes, but as you mentioned multiple times, coordination and sticking to a lot of the game plans, you know, continually pushing the game state forward. Nobody wants to watch some of these teams that we have had in the past lying back, waiting for missed opportunities.
No, none of that.
Instantly going to sleep. Constantly, though, pushing it forward. I put a lot of credit for River, especially for this. Seems like he knows exactly how he wants to play. He's working well, communicating with the lanes that he wants to play off. Aggressive invades, you know. Yes, he's playing Jarvan, and so it's a champion well-equipped to skip camps and go for ganks and set up his teammates. But they're in well-coordinated places, you know, trying to push people off of minion waves, getting some value, whether or not they actually even find the kill on some of these plays. It's always fun when you have some of the teams ranked at the bottom. Again, Dignitas, if you follow the draft order of the teams themselves for lock-in, Dig was 10th. Last picked in dodgeball. Nobody wanted them. No one was scared. No one pushed them to the other group.
But they got an arm like a cannon. And now that they have delivered the cannonball to 100 Thieves, we're breaking down the win with the State Farm Analyst desk.
Well, there's no chance in hell I beat that analogy, but Captain Flowers is exactly right. To be the team that was the most underrated coming into the season to now have taken down the tournament favorite and the summer split champions.
Okay, yeah.
And they do it in 2-0 fashion.
You know what? No one can say shit about it too, because that's a best of 3 series. They 2-0'd them in a series. That's a statement.
Also, we were talking about why watch preseason tournaments. Nothing fun happened. This jungler just got here this week, and they upset the LCS champions playing with their full lineup.
Yeah, I mean,
Vindication!
it's not like River has never shown up before. Like,
No,
he was
yeah.
amazing
He's a
last
very
year on PSG and at
experienced
Worlds,
jungler.
but he's never shown up in the LCS, right?
True.
So a lot of people are like, who's this River guy? He's really, really, really good, and he's been able to transfer it in such a short time. So just to the draft real quick, when I saw the Caitlyn Karma, I actually thought the game was over in the favor of 100 Thieves, because I was just so expecting the classic, they're going to camp your turret, those 5 plates will be gone by 9 minutes, they'll move, they'll get 3 or 4 more somewhere else, he's going to just be item spike the whole game, it's going to be classic FBI, and it just didn't happen.
Right.
So this was way better of a win than game 1 for Dig.
You did actually say out loud, this game is over.
Yeah.
When those
Yeah.
two champions were locked in for 100 Thieves.
It
was
true.
not the
1 and
correct
2.
statement.
Say that.
But my goodness. Again, plenty more early action
Yeah.
between these two teams. And again, we're going to talk plenty about River and what he's done for this squad. Stepping off a plane, already a top performer, and showing some of the other top individuals around the league that he's here to compete.
It's the stuff that people don't see that I really enjoy about him, which is just the setup, right? A lot of the times he's playing it really efficiently. He's there bot lane when he's trying to clear out vision to allow them space. This is a good timing. Okay, the intent was good. The ending was rough because they stuck around too long.
The initial dive was fantastic.
Yeah, the initial dive
Yeah.
was great. They got TP off of it and everything, and then this was horrific.
Yeah, a little bit of an overreach here, but only showing this to kind of set up again that they had dug themselves a small hole here at the beginning that they had to find their way out of.
Well, and I think if you want to give River credit for a few things, it's again, like we talked about what makes him a good jungler, and it's understanding where he needs to be in relation to his lanes. And that's something that he excelled at on PSG, that played around having very strong, like, pushing lanes. And then on this J4 pick, what it allows you to do is it's just, like, this sounds really dumb, but it's a visually impactful champion. If he's going in, regardless of whether you have not had time to communicate with your team and you don't have a comm system set up, you know how that works. And he also knows, like, where to be when in relation to his lanes, which I think is the most important thing to look at
It's
here.
usually the best advice you can give to a low elo solo queue player is play like a Leona or Jarvan, someone that makes it obvious when to start the fight. Who knew it could also apply to the LCS and taking down the #1 squad? It was this Rift Herald fight where they got it all back and then some.
Definitely the turning point. The fact that River gets 6 off of the Rift Herald kill is really crucial because it allows him to ult in later. But also, if you're a Renekton, this is when you want to fight. It actually is at the first Rift Herald when you're around level 7 and you have your ultimate.
Strongest champ on the map.
There was a lot of weird things that actually happened here. Like a lot of the time, you don't see a Caitlyn Karma lane move, let alone move second to a Rift Herald. And then they ended up dying, but like the power spikes were there for Dignitas to be wanting to flip that.
Yeah, and I mean, just taking a look at that Rift Herald, as you already said, the fact that they did move and Caitlyn was not a part of that fight whatsoever gave a huge bolster of confidence towards Dignitas to take the fight. Even if you were, pick apart it, be nitpicky in the fight itself, follow up around Renekton, Flash W, like things like these, like they knew very clearly that regardless of the outcome of the Smite fight, that they would be the clear winners of the fight itself. So good on them to just kind of basically pull the trigger.
Well, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this series, ultimately what led up to that Rift Herald.
We
We'll
have
get
some
into
wave
it.
management coming up after
There's some
this
interesting
Let's
stuff.
go. Get
Before we do
excited.
that, though, I want to make sure we get a word from our victors. So we're going to hop on over to the Tigers, who's standing by with Blue in our Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you, Dash. For the first time here on the LCS broadcast, I would love to welcome Dignitas mid laner Blue for our Verizon post-game interview. First off, though, I think you are very aware of the high expectations people had for the reigning champs in 100 Thieves going into this matchup. You just took them down 2-0. How were you and the squad able to pull that off?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. This is the first time on the LCS broadcast. We were actually really excited and actually better prepared this time compared to yesterday's game. We were still in trying to see how we should communicate because we have a bit some issue that River arrived like 3 days ago. We just scrimmed with him like 3 days actually. So we're just getting prepared and trying to see what we can do and how we should talk in game. Today that's what we're preparing against one of the Chiefs mostly, and I guess it worked out.
A bit more on some of that chaos that you're experiencing, because you are new to the league coming recently, but then River just getting here this week. Obviously, you are finding ways to work through that communication, but how were you able to do so in a fashion to show up so strong and be on the same page when it comes to this best-of-3 series?
We've been seeing words like, for example, easier words for River to understand or for him to say, so we can communicate faster and easier, or being more on the map, or what people want to say. Like, we just talk a lot about TC after yesterday's games, and today we just do it on official game, and it worked out. Actually, I'm also really surprised and happy that we played really good. So yeah.
Yeah, everyone definitely showing out for the squad in total. I know that a lot of that unity comes from being on the same page with your coach as well. You having a history with the coach when you played in a previous league, how does that factor into how you are developing with this squad?
I trust a lot about Enatron, obviously, because I played with him and we were also really successful in our past league. I'm really happy that I have a chance to work again with him. I'm learning a lot with him. He's always trying to learn me my communication or my gameplay stuff. So I'm really grateful to work with him again. And I'm pretty sure that other also players that are also learning a lot from him. So he's also like Mabry and Enatron are really helping us a lot, I will say. Yeah.
I know that we are all very grateful to have you here in the league. I do have to ask, how's your finger feeling after last week's fiasco?
I will not show it because it looks pretty bad, but it's okay. It's a bit better. I basically snapped my nails, so half of it is gone. It's still painful, but it's getting better every day. So yeah.
I'm glad you're at the very least on the mend towards full recovery. Blue, thank you so much for stopping by for this interview.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, so excited to get Blue's first words here on the LCS broadcast. Let's head back over to the State Farm Analyst desk to continue breaking this down.
Thank you very much, the Tigers. 2 days of scrims.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
2 easy wins.
That's crazy.
They're going to be in a semifinal.
Coincidence?
now.
I think not. They will.
Tigers in the semifinals.
They're in the semifinals, just like that.
You know what's
What
really
the
funny? You know what's really funny?
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
That's one big thing.
What he didn't say. I'm right there.
That's great praise, by the way, from Blue. Speaking of Enatron, because funny enough, there is a bit of a tie between Dig and 100 Thieves, because Enatron was the coach for closer back in the TCL once upon a time. I think he got coach of display at the same time as MVP for closer. So they had a widely successful split there. So there is some tie there.
Had him downloaded. All right. Now, back to the reason
Yeah.
they took that second game. We kind of teased a little bit of it, some wave management stuff. This coming from Dignitas's bot lane. Neo delivering the win for the squad, and not in the way you might think.
We haven't seen this completely yet because it was during a replay, but it's specifically after the one fight in River, there was a full recall, and look how slowly they push this wave so they can time this and push the Caitlyn off the wave.
Yeah, and we talked about, like, Caitlyn and Karma should always have the push in this lane, and Jat and I were so confused because there's a replay that runs through this as to how this wave continues to crash in there to set it up. And what happens here is basically they just take advantage of the Kate Karma reset off of the one fight from 100 Thieves, push the wave in. It sets up for Someday to have to burn his TP in response to a bot lane dive.
Yeah.
And it's actually a massive play that you don't see that ends up setting up the Herald play later as well when they rotate the bot lane up. So, yeah.
If you think it's too troll that we're putting, like, delivering the win for, like, that, what we just showed, we fought for this.
Yes, Jat and I pushed for this.
For good reason.
I'm going to add on to what Emily said is because, like, even though 100 Thieves won the fight, when, like, anytime someone resets on the map, it presents an opportunity of some kind. And the opportunity here was taken advantage of by Neo and Biofrost, and the knock-on effects of that was Renekton getting pushed top as well to help to first move to Rift Herald and also allow them to move to Rift Herald without losing plates, which baited 100 Thieves into taking a fight they shouldn't have taken. And that was like a 3,000 gold swing.
Giga Brain. All right, so while they can't guarantee you a win or one for your favorite team, Grubhub can guarantee that your delivery is on time at the lowest price or they'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Make sure to look out all spring split for exclusive Grubhub deals to get you fed. Neo, though, getting it done for the squad. I really love that we're showing something like that because
Do you actually?
No, I really.
It was very quick, and then we
doubting
sat
it.
on the graphic for
Yeah, and I
take
were
that
sitting,
lying down.
yeah, and I were sitting here with
You know, we got a
laptops.
giant ass keyboard over there if you want to
Yeah.
go spam X.
And the spinning wheel
You
on the
know?
mouse works.
Yeah.
And it does.
I was testing it earlier.
No, I'm being very serious because I think it's one of those things where it's important to not only showcase and but to understand how a game can be won outside of those few high-intensity fight moments. And I feel too often the game of League of Legends is reduced to just that. Oh, they arrived at this team fight, this team won. That's how they won the game. Okay, but what were the circumstances around it? Why was, that player mispositioned or late? Why didn't they have that resource that they should have had or needed to have in order to win? And this is a great explanation of that kind of setup that we're talking about that makes a great team.
Well, and I also think Dignitas, like, to make some of Neo's flashier plays also, the people who are watching in team fights, he played really, really well. And this team set him up for success.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, coming into this series, and what you guys did in exemplifying that is, Dignitas has been playing really well about how they play around their waves, number one, and setting up Fog of War. So, like,
Core JJ tweet right there.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's high praise right there. Core JJ calling out River as we expected he'd be a big a part of a victory here if it were to come to fruition for Dignitas. But
Yeah.
I think he more than delivered on that.
Exactly. So we're singing a lot of praise towards River. Neo had a phenomenal game in team fights, and a lot of this was just because Dignitas was able to fight mid-game because they didn't falter because of the early pressure that was very visible when he was ganking, but also just focusing on clearing out vision, getting blue a part of these plays so they can look for a bot lane dive. It doesn't work out, fine, we can back away.
Yeah.
So this is just actually very promising in the start of the season.
Made it a tough call for us to pick that player of the series, right? We were kind of
I
waffling
actually feel really
between-
bad that Neo didn't get an accolade there because he was like,
Well, he
did
gets
even
delivering
die?
the win.
Yeah.
He did.
He gets delivering the win,
There
and
you go.
River's going to get player of the series. It definitely was a team effort, though, here for Dignitas to ultimately unseat 100 Thieves. Now, perhaps we will have another upset on our hands because Team Liquid are battling up against FlyQuest in our next series for another spot in the semis. We'll catch you back here in just a bit.
Initializing legendary moments.
Take a look while you can, because if you blink, you'll miss it.
I'm sure you've heard the news.
Gold, gold, and more gold.
Here comes the big play. Oh, that's perfect timing. You can see this one coming.
They get what they need. They got the mids. They got the support. They got the top.
Are they gonna give you some fun League of Legends? Yes, sir.
Welcome to the LCS.
FTX, official cryptocurrency exchange partner of the LCS.
Sequence complete.
What is going on?
I can't afford streaming anymore, so.
Sure you can. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Oh, good. Because some true crime would be nice.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.